Hello, my kangaroos. Welcome to Rue Likes to Review. I am Rue. Warning, there will be spoilers. The Untouchables TV show, 1959, Season 1. The Untouchables is a Desilu production. I will only review the episodes I like. What is great, each episode is its own story. Season 1, Episode 1. The Empty Chair, starring Robert Stack as Elliot Ness, Jerry Paris as Martin Flaherty. I want to mention Jerry Paris and Robert Stack together. Jerry only shows up for 16 episodes of the show, then he is replaced. I have seen some speculation that Robert just didn't like Jerry, or a silly that Jerry was taller than Robert, which is all nonsense. Here are some things that Jerry has said about the Untouchables, which I thought was funny. His suit never fit as good as Robert's, and they were both very tall men. His gun never worked, and they had to add the noise and the fire in post. He would flub his lines. After Jerry's last episode, he left. Robert called him to come back to the show. Jerry told him he was too embarrassed to come back. Also, he got an offer to act in the Dick Van Dyke Show. Robert asked if that was a brand of cigar. Throughout the years, Robert and Jerry remained friends. The Untouchables TV movie Scarface Mob. This links up to Episode 1, The Empty Chair. Chicago, May 5th, 1932. Al Capone is sent to prison for tax evasion. Al Capone, played by Neville Brand. I had a hard time finding the original cast for this episode, so here they are. One of them is uncredited and soon disappears. This episode revolves around George Ritchie, who died in the TV movie Scarface Mob. This episode takes place a year after the Scarface Mob. Ritchie's widow, Brandy, played by Barbara Nichols. She wants to find the man who killed her husband. Here is Capone's mob. Gus, the pineapple expert, played by Peter Mamikos. Phil, expert machine gunner, played by Wally Castle. Before I go on, I want to say a surprising fact about the actor Wally Castle. He lived to be 103. 103. That's crazy, but awesome at the same time. Fur, hijacker, rum runner, and killer, played by Richard Benedict. Tony, chief triggerman, played by Herman Rudden. I want to add we will see some of these actors again, as the show had repeat actors, but they played different parts for each episode that they were in. Can't forget Frank Nitti, the enforcer, played by Bruce Gordon. Gus and Tony go into this barbershop. Here is something I find strange. The woman between the two men is uncredited. I literally can't find who plays her, but I will connect her to someone else soon. Frank does a hit on Gus and Tony, killing them, along with the unknown woman. This barber, who we will know as Enrico Rossi, played by Nicholas Giorgiati, kills one of the gangsters. Here is the connection. Enrico and the unknown woman were dating, but in the show. However, it's never ever stated in the show. I found out by Nicholas Giorgiati talking about being in the show. In the script, it is stated that his character and the unknown woman were dating. Now knowing this information between Enrico and the unknown woman, this scene, or if you have watched this episode, makes more sense, as Enrico is very upset and does state that the unknown woman was only 17, which gives me a thought and questions I cannot answer. Like, how old is Enrico supposed to be? So is he 17 too? Or older? I would say older because of the big role he plays in the show. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Also, have to think of the time. This is 1932. From this scene, I learned the word moxie, as Elliot says it to Enrico in the scene. Throughout all of the reviews for The Untouchables, I will state things I learned, as I did learn a lot from this show. Moxie means courage. Here are the members of The Untouchables. Martin Flaherty, played by Jerry Paris.
Martin Flaherty, former Boston police officer with an outstanding bureau arrest record.
William Youngfellow, played by Abel Fernandez.
William Youngfellow, full-blooded Cherokee, second team All-American in 1924, largely responsible for the breakup of the Oklahoma City booze ring.
Jack Rossman, played by Steve London.
Jack Rossman, former telephone company lineman from New York, now a wiretap expert.
Lamar Kane, played by Chuck Hicks.
Lamar Kane of the Richmond Bureau, law school graduate, married, 2 children.
I think it's funny in old TV shows and movies, they like to state marital status and how many children. It always makes me laugh. Since Enrico witnessed the crime, he wants to testify. But it's really dangerous, so Elliot and Martin have an idea. Enrico becomes part of the Untouchables. I love this because it really shows the times. Want to be a police officer? Sure, come on in. Here's your badge and gun. No school. I mean, yes, they train them, but still. Also, Enrico never does testify, not even in the last season. This was a way for him being part of the squad. In the movie Scarface Mob, the audience really didn't like there was no Italian Americans in the Untouchables, which Enrico fills this role in the show. Now we have Jack Rossman and Enrico Rossi. I think, in my own opinion, they should have changed one of their last names. I'm thinking Jack Rossman should have been something else. Speaking of Jack Rossman, even though we will see him for all 4 seasons, he only appears here and there. I have no idea why they gave him the wiretapper expert, as we rarely see him doing this. If we do see wiretapping, someone else is doing it, not Jack. Lamar, we only see for 6 episodes. In the episode The Tri-City Gang, they kill him off. I guess he wasn't popular. Frank sits in Capone's chair, which was empty because Capone is in prison, hence the name of the episode. Frank wants to be the boss. The Untouchables want to rile up Frank, so they only raid his places, not the rest of the gang. I have to say this looks like fun smashing things. If you are like me and love learning about the mob from the 1920s through the 30s, which is my favorite period of mobsters, then you will know this concept.
Places, all of us give you a share of our take until you can open up again. If anyone else's place is knocked off, that man can get money from us until he can start again.
If you don't, this concept is from the mafia organization Murder Inc. Murder Inc. made up rules that we see in the show, like voting and covering each other like in this clip. Well done for research for the show. Jake Greasy Thumb Guzik, played by Nehemiah Persoff, which Nehemiah Persoff died here in 2022. He lived to be 102. Wow. Brandy is Guzik's niece. He tells her to get over Richie already, then reveals Ness killed her husband.
We're trying to find the man responsible for your husband's death.
I'm looking at him. It was you.
Here towards the end of the episode, Brandy confronts Ness. Ness states they had to get Capone. If you didn't see my review for Scarface Mob, George Ritchie dies because the mob found out he was an informant for the Untouchables. Here is a goof, sort of, but in my own opinion. Let's hear the goof first.
You're using the wrong weapon, Barbara. You're using the wrong weapon, Barbara.
Here's why I don't actually think this is a goof. In the movie Scarface Mob, Brandy tells Richie to call her Barbara. So I think people think this is a goof if they weren't aware of the TV movie Scarface Mob, which I stated I didn't know either. I find this strange. Ness gives Brandy a gun for protection, like, here you go, here's a gun. Ness convinced Brandy to help him find Capone's money book that he knows Guzik has. Brandy agrees. While looking for the book, Guzik comes in and smacks Brandy, then she falls down. She shoots her uncle. Good thing Ness gave her that gun. The Untouchables kill Phil and come to arrest Guzik. Two facts about the real people. The real Jake Guzik never carried a gun. Therefore, Jake Guzik in the Untouchables didn't either. The real Elliot Ness carried a gun, but only used it as the last resort, as Elliot Ness in the show uses his gun in every episode. In the end, they do find Capone's money book. It was hidden cleverly under Richie's grave. That concludes Season 1, Episode 1, The Empty Chair. I was going to review the other episodes I like in Season 1, but this video turned out longer than expected. I will do a part 2 for the rest of my favorite episodes in Season 1 in the next video. Thank you for watching. I will see you kangaroos in the next video.